Imagine waking up tomorrow to headlines predicting the collapse of civilization. Some experts say disaster is inevitable. Others claim humanity is running out of time. Social media is filled with warnings. People are scared. It feels like the world is changing faster than ever. But here's the strange thing. People have felt this way for thousands of years. In fact, nearly every generation in history has believed they might be living through the end of the world. And yet, generation after generation, humanity continued. So why do we keep thinking the end is near? The answer reveals something fascinating about human nature. Because our greatest fear may not be the end of the world itself. It may be uncertainty. To understand why, we need to travel back through history. Our first stop is medieval Europe. In the 14th century, a catastrophe swept across the continent. The Black Death. Within just a few years, millions of people were dead. Entire towns were devastated. Families watched loved ones become sick and die with no explanation. Today, we know the plague was caused by bacteria, but people living through it had no such understanding. To them, the world must have seemed as if it was falling apart. Imagine seeing entire neighborhoods emptied. Imagine watching carts carry away bodies every day. Many believed they were witnessing the final days of humanity. And honestly, who could blame them? When people cannot explain a disaster, their imagination often fills the gaps. For many, the plague wasn't just a tragedy. It was the apocalypse. Yet humanity survived. The world moved forward. And the next generation faced its own fears. Centuries later, a new threat emerged. Not disease, war. The 20th century brought destruction on a scale never before seen. The First World War shocked the world. Some believed the First World War would put an end to all future wars. Then came the Second World War. Cities burned. Millions died. Entire nations were transformed. But the greatest fear arrived after the war ended. Nuclear weapons. For the first time in human history, people possessed the ability to destroy civilization with the push of a button. Children practiced nuclear drills in schools. Families built fallout shelters. Governments prepared for scenarios that seemed ripped from science fiction. Many genuinely believed they would witness the end of the world. And during moments like the Cuban Missile Crisis, that fear felt very real. For 13 days in 1962, humanity stood closer to nuclear war than ever before. People watched the news wondering if tomorrow would come. But tomorrow did come, and the world continued. Then came a different kind of fear. As the year 2000 approached, millions worried about a problem known as Y2K. Many computer systems stored years using only 2 digits. Some experts feared computers would misread the year 2000 and malfunction. Predictions ranged from banking failures to widespread infrastructure collapse. The media amplified the concern. Businesses spent billions preparing. People stockpiled supplies. They emptied the shelves of grocery stores. The night before the new year, some people even had end-of-the-world parties. When midnight finally arrived, the disaster never materialized. For many, it became another reminder that predictions of collapse are often less reliable than they seem. Yet humanity's fascination with the apocalypse wasn't finished. In 2012, a new prediction spread around the globe. According to popular rumors, the ancient Mayan calendar supposedly pointed to the end of the world. Television specials explored the possibility. Books became bestsellers. Internet discussions exploded. People debated everything from solar storms to planetary collisions. December 21st arrived, and then it passed like any other day. Once again, the apocalypse failed to appear. At this point, a pattern begins to emerge. Different generations, different fears, different predictions, but the same underlying psychology. So why does this happen? Why are humans so convinced that catastrophe is always around the corner? Part of the answer lies deep within our evolutionary history. Our ancestors survived by paying attention to threats. Those who ignored danger often paid a heavy price. As a result, our brains became highly sensitive to negative possibilities. Psychologists call this negativity bias. Bad news grabs our attention faster than good news. Danger feels more important than safety. Potential disasters dominate our thoughts. There is another reason as well. Human beings are uncomfortable with uncertainty. When the future feels unclear, we search for explanations. Predictions provide certainty. Even frightening predictions can feel more comfortable than not knowing what comes next. In many ways, apocalypse stories offer something strangely reassuring. They transform uncertainty into a clear narrative. A beginning, crisis, an ending. Reality is usually far more messy than that. Today, people worry about artificial intelligence, climate change, another pandemic, economic instability, and global conflict. It is one thing to be prepared, and another to be in a constant state of fear. Some concerns are absolutely worth taking seriously, but history reminds us to be careful. Every generation believes its fears are unique. Every generation feels that its challenges are unlike anything humanity has faced before. And every generation is usually wrong about that. History doesn't tell us that everything will be fine, but it does tell us something important. Human beings have a long habit of mistaking uncertainty for doom. Again and again, people looked at a changing world and concluded that the end was near. Again and again, humanity adapted. And maybe that is all we can do. We can try our best to prepare, but remaining in a state of fear or panic has never been good for anyone. The future remains uncertain. It always has been, but perhaps that's the point. The world has survived countless predictions of its end. And if history is any guide, the next prediction probably won't be the last. Because while the details change, one thing remains constant. Every generation thinks the world is ending, and somehow, the story continues.